All right, Xan, had a video about this, man, and I think I mistitled it, but it still did pretty well.
Not enough exclamation points?
No, and I didn't capitalize every other letter. I didn't capitalize.
See,
I'm an idiot.
It's YouTube. You got to capitalize every other word, throw in like a random
dollar
exclamation
sign.
point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Freaking A, man. We're talking about Luminosity Gaming, and speaking of dollar signs, I'm probably going to get angry here, man. And so we now know how much Luminosity Gaming makes. And I keep looking down because I don't want to get any stats wrong.
A lot of money.
How much do they make? Well, it's not near as much as you probably think, especially when compared to the upper orgs out there. But we now do know that Luminosity Gaming, at least in some years, were profitable. And it's very curious because I'm actually not going to go towards the amount they make. I'm going to go towards a bit of a worry for their future. So we look back, they're 2 profitable years, Xan. And I know I kind of just spit information at you and expect it to stick. But for 2016 and 2018, they were profitable. In 2016, they made under $1 million, right around 850K. Pretty good chunk of change, right?
Yeah.
For a pretty
still respectable.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian org. It's one of the more well-known ones. But in terms of esports organizations, they're pretty small. I'd say mid-tier in terms of size compared to.
I'd say that's probably about right. Yeah, I'd say they're like a tier 2 org.
And so to profit nearly $1 million, that's pretty impressive. 2018, it drops down to under $200,000. They lost money in 2017, not too much, but overall for a year of work, they lost money. And so what worries me, especially when you look towards their streams of revenue, they're bringing in right around $3 to $4 million a year. And what worries me as well, when you look back to the years they were profitable, 2016, they had the best Brazilian CSGO lineup in the entire world.
Right.
It made for great sponsorships because Brazil is crazy loyal, and they brought in nearly $1 million just in sponsorships alone that year. Later on that year, they sold the CSGO roster for another $1 million, and that led to why they made nearly $1 million in 2016. Ever since then, they have now, in 2019, this year, left CSGO. They've now kind of shifted their niche towards Fortnite streaming. As we all know, Fortnite's kind of I wouldn't say a dying game, but a declining game. And they found their niche because they signed some very good World Cup players and some very good Fortnite streamers. Although this is for the year of 2018, so World Cup was not around then. Their Fortnite streamers, I would say, was a very lucky niche, and their revenue plummeted to under 200K. The meat of this argument I'm trying to make here is this. This is an organization who's bringing in now less than $4 million per year, and just last year brought in less than $200,000 in profit.
Right.
That was without investing into a franchise league. And so now we look towards 2019, where Luminosity Gaming, during their merger with Enthusiast Gaming, has now dropped $25+ million. An organization who made less than $200K last year has just now invested $25 million into an unknown Call of Duty franchise league. Yes, they merged, so it's not all their cash. It's actually probably none of it. But is it not insane to you to think that a company saw this financial record and they thought, LG, less than 200K 2018, 25 million spent 2019. We'll make it back.
I think companies are looking at the way that things panned out with the League of Legends franchise league, where if you look at the prices for LCS spots like 2 or 3 years ago, it was in that 10 million range.
Okay.
And now we're seeing them go up to easily like into the 30s,
Very strong fireback, Sam.
Yeah.
Very strong fireback, and I appreciate you for that because I honestly didn't expect you to come up with that. But I look towards a team who, by the way, in terms of sponsorships, the fall off ever since 2016. 2016 was a great year for sponsors. Nearly $1 million in sponsors. Now they're making less than $200,000 in sponsors. So they're making less year in, year out. They dropped $25 million, but we know the viewership of Call of Duty.
Right.
And the baseline for Call of Duty in viewership is probably around, this could be far-fetched, but maybe 10% of what League of Legends is. And the base price, the starting price for League of Legends was $10 million. Call of Duty's entry point is $25 million. So to say that it's going to be worth $75 million, the league spots went from $10 million. Echo Fox just sold their spot for $30 million. To say that Call of Duty with this viewership will triple the amount of $25 million buy-in prices in franchise spots to $75 million?
I think honestly,
how do you look at this?
Companies are probably banking on the fact that, it worked out kind of similarly. So worst case, we sell our spot in the league for like a little bit more than we bought it for. Like let's be conservative, right? And say they sell their spot.
It's pissing me off thinking about it.
They buy the spot at 25 mil, right? And they sell it at 35. Then they're probably still like, all right, well, there's a little bit of money
after
down
taxes,
the drain. Yeah.
Maybe break even.
Yeah, it's like, it's not great, but at the same time, I'm sure a lot of companies will see it as a worthwhile business adventure.
Do these companies' owners, did they play Call of Duty as a kid and just have a dream to just waste money in the game?
I mean, we know that's kind of how a lot of esports scenes kind of start in weird ways.
I mean, let's be honest. Like Wang Sakong from Invictus Gaming, he's never going to run out of money. So if he loves video games, he can dump it. Enthusiast Gaming, I'm not sure if they're ran by Wang Sakong. I doubt it. I doubt they're ran by a billionaire.
But there's plenty of people who are multimillionaires who just have a huge passion for gaming and probably grew up on Call of Duty.
It just really baffles me.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is kind of insane. I definitely agree, because there's nothing that says that Call of Duty is worth this amount of money, especially after the kind of mixed reaction that Modern Warfare has been getting in the past couple of weeks.
Let alone the franchise. Look at the game. It changes every year. We could have a terrible game this year, let alone next.
Yeah, it's a risky proposition no matter how you look at it. But I mean, how many other franchise leagues are popping up? Probably not a ton left, because we might have a Rocket League.
Well.
Yeah.
I don't mean to correct you, but it is probably a pretty popular thing. But to your point, they're so much cheaper. Rocket League will be way cheaper. Crossfire,
absolutely.
1.5 million.
At the same time, they don't have that brand recognition that Call of Duty has.
But they do have probably close to the same viewership, which leads to brand recognition.
Viewership-wise, yeah, of course.
Maybe not the player base. I'll give you that.
It's very possible that they're aiming for a specific audience, right? Because Rocket League is probably, I don't know, let's say that 12 to 24 demo, right? Where Call of Duty probably skews a little bit older and skews into the part of the market that's more willing to spend money, because they have more money to spend, because they're working, they're already in the middle of their careers.
Yeah,
their target could be those groups of people.
Yeah, I do think it's very interesting. I would love so much to sit down with one of the investors or one of the big companies out there who chose Call of Duty League, and I would love to pick their mind on their reasonings,
Yeah, it would be interesting.
I wouldn't even want to pick them apart. I just want to hear their side of things. One last point to your point as well. Rocket League would be way cheaper, but maybe not the same brand recognition. Right. Crossfire the same way. We had another one slip up here as well. CSGO could be having one, which is way cheaper. They got great brand recognition, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, but at the same time, CSGO is not Call of Duty. CSGO,
the way you argue Call of Duty like it's some kind of god tier game. It is great.
Yeah, I don't like Call of Duty right now. I'm not playing Modern Warfare. I respect CSGO a lot, but if I walked into my house right now and I talked to my grandmother and I was like, "Have you heard of CSGO?" She'd be like, "What did you say?" Or if I said, "Have you heard of Call of Duty?" She's like, "Oh yeah, that's the video game." That's the video game
sales, brand recognition, game sales. Most of these sales, they're not going back to LG. They're going back to Activision and those boys.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that your grandma's not buying a Call of Duty shirt for the LA Optic or the LA Gorillas.
Yeah, you're certainly not wrong. But hey, the point is always going to be it's just CSGO is big for esports people. Call of Duty has wider reach outside of that demographic, I feel.
And we're going to find out, Xan, if that reach is worth 25+ million.